Hey, look at that! I'm back with another recommendation. This time from AnimeGirl 4891, longtime subscriber. Thanks for the recommendation. So, like that smash button and join the notification gang and join my Discord where you, yes you, can join and recommend me anime to watch and then review and then join the Discord. Haruka Nanami is just a girl with glaucoma and a burning passion to create music, so she enrolls in Saotome Academy. But lucky for her, everyone in this school is either hot idol man meat, really damn good composers, or people with normal looking eyes. But that doesn't get her down. Wait, why would that get... Probably because she's losing her vision to glaucoma, but mostly because she won't give up on her dream of being a composer. Too bad for her though, all of this man meat around her is single. I added that last part. That's not an actual... It doesn't matter. Moving on. Utano Prince Sama is from the studio that brought you the 7 Deadly Sins, SAO, and Steak Sauce. Yes, I'm talking about the studio A1 Steak Sauce Moving Photography Division. It's directed by Yuko, who has directed Loveless, which you 90s kids will know as the manga that was advertised in Final Fantasy VII. The anime is 13 episodes and is streaming on High Dive and Verve. This show is a harem, but don't be fooled. This isn't a quintessential quintuplet situation or whatever. It's actually quite enjoyable, if a bit over-dramatized in certain moments. For me, the harem stuff never rears its ugly head. Feels more like a generic tag to apply to it more than anything else, so don't worry about it too much. But the show itself is basically this one simple concept repeated through each episode. Develop all the characters. That's it. So if you like character development heavy shows, this could actually be one for you. Where it falters a little is that it plays up the drama angle constantly. I just wish for a moment they'd have a little bit more fun, you know? Not everything has to be super serious. And because of this, I feel like the pacing of the show is rather slow at times, even sluggish at certain points too. This is just, I guess, the price you have to pay when you have so many dramatic episodes, I guess. But when the show is firing on all cylinders, expect to blaze through these episodes quick. I mean, at some points I had to check and make sure that some of these episodes weren't like 10 minutes. Utano Prince Sama's characters is the best part about this show easily. While the cast is very big, they do a very good job at showing off pretty much every character, their unique personalities, and even developing mostly every single one of them. And much, much more. It's quite impressive as well because this is just a 13 episode anime and they seemingly pull it off without too many hitches. I can't say I hate too many of these characters either. I may dislike some, like Ren, who is douche personified as he plays a saxophone with his shirt down, and Natsuki, who has this weird split personality thing that isn't very consistent sometimes. And yeah, there's also a teacher who's a trap who looks like Astolfo from Fate Apocrypha, but he doesn't do too much in this show anyway, so he's not an issue for me. But I can't express enough how integral these characters are to the experience of the show. They single-handedly take a pretty average but okay show and carry it to a pretty good one in my opinion. The writing isn't always the best for them, but it really is consistent enough to be a pretty good experience for just about all of them. As for the character I like the most in the show, I'm gonna have to go with Haruka. She has very good character development and a very common but absurdly fun arc. She's got everything: personal issues to overcome, her reasons for going to this school in the first place, and the challenges that await her in her life. She's a good character, and there's a really good reason why I like a lot of these characters. They're well written. One thing I greatly appreciated about this anime is the character designs, especially our main character Haruka Nanami, and it's for the most obvious reasons you thought of: her eyes, which of course is what I like the most in my women. Haha, Joe. Oh, so much cringe. Anyways, her design is rather unique because of her weird kiwi-ish looking eyes. It adds a lot to her character and makes her stand out in this overcrowded cast of unique and decently developed characters. And her design beyond that is nice too. Her hairstyle is rather good, clothes are very stylish, fit the show's design pretty well. She's just a well-designed character all around. But because this cast is so big, it doesn't mean I like every design though. In fact, I don't like many of them. The only others I like is the design for show, and well, that's kinda it. But like I said before, this really isn't the anime's fault. I am not the target demographic for this anime, like, at all. But for the art in general, though, it's pretty good. It's not bad per se, far from it, but it's got this kind of art style that's very color heavy and drops a butt ton of saturation on everything. Sadly, though, on top of that, it uses a very annoying white vignette at the top of the screen when they're outside. It's a nitpick, sure, and it's not my thing. And if you know my taste, you'll know I hate when anime use a white vignette to simulate the sun beating down on top of them. It just looks cheap to me. I think this anime, like I said before, looks good. It has its cheap moments, it has its good moments, but I never feel any particular moment it gives us the full A1 experience. Which is strange to me because A1 usually always impresses in at least one way or another. Much like the art, the animation has its moments, but doesn't really do anything I'd consider to be an experience worthy of the A1 tag. It's fine, it's solid, it delivers on what is promised, but never quite gives us a reason to be impressed. And it's not like I think this anime should be an animation or art powerhouse either. I just think that with a studio like A1, you should have at least a moment where you get to see A1 really flex their talent. Because while a lot of people pass through A1, there is no reason why we shouldn't get that A1 experience. It's like going to a fireworks show and getting 3 hours of small to medium-sized explosions and pretty good fireworks, but never quite getting that big payoff at the end. Is it a worthwhile experience? Hell yeah, but were expectations let down? Sadly, yes. And I think animation-wise, this show shines when the characters turn into moe blobs, though. They're cute, they're well animated, and they fit the tone of the show very well. Otherwise, this is a show that's animated solidly. It isn't going to be a show you watch for the animation. Rather, you're probably going to be watching for the characters. One of the issues I have with anime like these, we'll bring up my favorite punching bag and Dead Horse Surene, is that you shouldn't have to feel the need to constantly play music nonstop in your anime. I feel anime that do this greatly underestimate and undermine the actual story and performances. We don't need music to tell us how we feel. The performances from these great voice actors should do that. The score's job is to enhance, not add onto an experience. Because for me, when a score decides to become an add-on, it's doing more harm. Let's think back to a moment to Cowboy Bebop. That OST enhances everything in that story. Not only the performances and tone, but even adds a sense of realism and texture to the world the characters are in. So what about this anime? Well, it's not as bad as Surune. It usually gives a couple moments of silence for the performances to shine, but otherwise it's constantly playing something in the background. It takes away from the rather enjoyable performances of this show. The music itself isn't bad either, but a lot of it is very generic kind of filler music, which I myself do not enjoy. And as for the music that the characters sing throughout the show, I can't really speak on that because it's not really my thing. But from what I can tell, I mean, they're fine and fit the tone of the show, so I think for sure that adds at least to the experience of the score and the show as well. Utano Prince Sama is good, and I know this whole review kind of seems like I'm down on it, but I'm really not. It's just I have a lot of criticisms for it, and it's not the best thing, mind you, but it's never bad, and it has a lot of worthwhile moments that fans of this genre will probably really appreciate. The characters are for the most part very well done. Haruka is a great lead for this kind of show, and the supporting characters mostly get their time to shine, and you learn something about them that makes them either more compelling or just makes the episode better than the one before it. The only true weaknesses in the show, to me, is the overblown drama and the weak production, which, depending on who you ask, can be a big problem, but most likely won't be an issue. This anime is meant for a certain kind of audience, an audience that I am not a part of, sadly. So, as for a recommendation, it's obvious to me that if you like reverse harems, then you will probably want to watch this. But if you don't like these shows, which I don't, and there's nothing wrong with that, then it won't be a show you'll want to watch. But hey, I was actually kind of glad I watched this, as I've never seen one of these shows before, and I enjoyed my time here for the most part, and also Haruka's eyes are pretty dang great, am I right, fellas? If you're new, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. You can also support me on Patreon to gain access to videos early and ad-free. Also hit the like button too. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.